Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society. This is our live talk show, episode number 33. And we have got a special guest with us here in the house tonight, so stay tuned. We're going to introduce him in a minute. He's been on our show before, but it's going to be a good talk tonight here on the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society talk show. I'm going to update you guys on what's going on and keep you in the loop as far as where we're going to be investigating this coming weekend also. So hang in there. It's going to be a good show tonight. So you can visit, if this ain't work, our website at CrawfordCountyGhostHunters.org. If you have not been on there, definitely check that out. You can email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com if you guys have any type of places you want us to check out, any investigations, you think you might want us to do at your location. You think you've got paranormal activity or some type of paranormal phenomena going on in or around your home or business, please give us a email at illinoishauntings@gmail or contact us by our phone number on our Facebook page or just message us. We try to respond as soon as possible and as fast as possible. We get a lot of messages, so just bear with us if you do that. You can visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. That may be where you're watching it from here tonight. We also dual stream to YouTube if you would rather watch from YouTube. We can answer messages from YouTube and Facebook now. So if you guys just like the YouTube platform, check us out on YouTube as well. That is YouTube / Crawford County Ghost Hunters or at Crawford County Ghost Hunters. It's easy to find us on there too. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check our show out on there. Sometimes the picture quality is a little better on YouTube if you switch over to there, but some people like to remain here on Facebook. So, as always, tonight's music is by the Midnight Syndicate, used with permission. You can visit their website at midnightsyndicate.com. They've got a lot of creepy Halloween-style music, and we use a lot of their music for our intros when we go live and when we do our talk show like we're doing tonight. So definitely check out Midnight Syndicate and give them a thumbs up, a like, and a subscribe. But tonight's guest is going to be Greg Koss. We've got him on the show again tonight. So it's going to be a really good talk tonight with Greg. We're going to get him thrown in here in just a minute. So I get these intros out of the way here. So, but definitely, guys, we got a good investigation coming up this weekend, a live feed we're going to be doing this weekend. Shawnee National Forest. We're going to be going live down there. So hopefully we get enough, good signal down there in the Shawnee National Forest area. Because that's where we're going to be at this weekend. Like Friday and Saturday, we're going to be down there. So definitely check that out. I got some of you guys on here watching. We're going to try our best to do a good live investigation down there. We went live several times again since our last show, but again, it's been late, bad signal, just things happen where we can't go live. It's kind of sucked lately for our live feeds, but hang in there with us, guys, because we'll be going live this weekend. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and get into tonight's guest because it's going to be a good talk. I'm going to throw in Greg Koss into the show here and welcome my guest here tonight. How you doing, Greg?
How are you, Jason? Good to be on.
Doing good.
Good to be on.
Yeah, if I could just have a Monday where I didn't respond to something right before the show or something where it doesn't mess my schedule up for the show, I'd be doing great.
It's Monday and anything can happen. It used to be Wednesday. Anything can happen day. I think it was on Mickey Mouse Club, I think that was. But Monday's turned into that now.
Oh, for sure.
For me. So, it's one step beyond.
Yeah, me too. Seems like the last, 3 or 4 Mondays, we've had something for the fire department right before the show starts. I had to, go to or something. We had a big structure fire today, so I'm kind of late with everything today. So, but everybody was okay. We got it out finally, and I guess that's just the nature of the game.
So, It's really good to talk to you, and it's an honor since you're such a great fireman, and you volunteered. You basically volunteered to do that, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
So, kudos to you. That's great.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
We have volunteer up here too, and you guys don't get enough pats on the back, that's for sure.
Yeah. It takes up a lot of time. So, but so what have you been up to, Greg, since we talked last?
Well, I've been going ahead and paying a lot of attention to some different talk shows around and starting to discuss things of what I'm going to be doing this year with shadow hunters and trying to get things together.
Awesome.
There's another couple investigations with another group that'll be up in Noping, and I'm really interested in doing Noping. So, and that's that mental sanitarium up in Duluth, Minnesota.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's going to pan out. I know that I'm chomping at the bit like everybody else is, as far as going on a couple good trips. And I know there's a lot of people around that, I've been, in and out with with a couple different teams, and I'm associated with two different teams, and the other one's GRS.
Right.
And when you go ahead and you mix and you try to come up with a real great group of people, I mean, there's a lot of people there that, are strong ghost hunters.
Right.
They're people with some very good talents. And, like when you guys were with me or with us, and we were at Old South Pittsburgh.
Sure.
That was an awesome trip.
Oh yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure out, and I know you mentioned it that night, and for the life of me, it was a wheelchair, correct?
Yes.
It was by the nurses station.
It was, yeah.
And was that moving?
Well, we were there at the old South Pittsburgh Hospital is what he's talking about, guys, there. And what happened is, are you talking about the video footage we got?
Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded what looked like a person pushing a bed or a wheelchair, and it almost looked like it had an IV bag, looked crazy as heck, on the video. But we ended up totally debunking that. We figured out that it was actually our own camera rig sitting on a table, and we had another camera rig going. We had that camera rig sitting on the table, and somebody came in with a flashlight into like the hospital area there, I think by the nurses station, and it reflected this shadow up on the wall and made it move and look like it was like it looked legit. I remember even the owner of the old South Pittsburgh Hospital, he's like, man, that's the best footage I've ever seen in here.
Right.
We were like, well, yeah, we don't know what it is.
I see Ronnie occasionally because he's here in Fox Lake.
Oh yeah.
So we always go back and forth, and he mentioned that, and I thought, gosh, I can never remember what Jason had said about that night.
Yeah.
And the next night was so chaotic, we weren't really going ahead and communicating too much as it was with everything going down the way it was. But that's the kind of stuff that that those are the memories that are made that years down the road you go ahead and go, God, what really happened about that?
Yeah. And we thought that was legit. I mean, we thought we had something good, and it's like we just kept looking at it and finally figured out, what caused it. And we blew up the video, stopped it frame by frame, and there was one frame that got us. You could see the circle of our camera rig with the light fixture on top of it.
Right.
But, you couldn't see that unless you slowed it down and stopped it, almost like frame by frame and went to look at it. Because when it was in motion, you couldn't really tell what it was. And that's why it blew our mind that night, and we couldn't figure out what caused it. But yeah, once we finally figured out what it was like, oh man. But I'd rather debunk something than, you know, say it's paranormal. So, but yeah, we got some pretty.
Well, that was a very big challenge.
Oh yeah,
wouldn't you say?
definitely.
You know, when it comes to things like that, because you know, a lot of people, like, you know, when Ronnie came up and said that to you, you know, at that point Ronnie's hair was standing straight up, and then when you went ahead and found out about it, his hair fell back down.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I still, you know, we've been all over the United States doing this and stuff, you know, different places, and like I still give credits to that old South Pittsburgh hospital crew, because like they were the nicest people when it came to like helping carry our gear in. And you know, when we came in there to do the investigation, you know, Gwen, I think it was Gwen and Candace, yeah, I mean they were so nice, you know, help carry our stuff in, take it up to the command room and stuff. It was just an awesome experience, really. You know, you don't get that very often when you pull up and investigate it. You know, people help you carry your stuff in and set it up. I mean, just good people.
Does your audience know about when we were at Mansfield and you had that whole back end of your pickup truck filled with gear? And we had to haul it all the way into that room where we were calling the base camp.
Yeah, the old Mansfield Prison.
Yeah,
that was that Ohio? Yeah, Ohio. Yeah, I do remember that. I've been too many places. I'm tired tonight, Greg. Yeah,
that's absolutely awesome when you think about it. You know, about all the things that we do to go ahead and fulfill our interests in the field we're exploring, you know, and that's what really makes it, you know, it's awesome, I think. But, you know, and well, good old Stanley was yelling and screaming, and
yeah, that was a good one. I remember that. Yeah, that Mansfield prison, though, like that thing was huge inside, you know, and I think in that the one where the Shawshank was filmed, or Shawshank, the movie was filmed there, and like there's a lot of cool places inside there. Like it was bigger than what I thought it was going to be when we were investigating that. I remember what year did we go there, Greg? Do you remember? Was it like it's probably like 18, wasn't it? 2017, 18,
something like that.
It's been a little while.
I remember when we were leaving that night, and we got out to the car, and we had gone ahead, and between a few of us, we decided that we were going to make sure that we did our prayers for protection before and then when we were leaving.
Yeah.
And we all got in the car, and I think Kathy or Mike started the car up, and we were getting ready to go. And I says, "Uh-oh." Stopped the car, and we went in. We said our prayers, you know, and said, "Hey, you know, you ain't coming home with us."
Yeah, that place was pretty crazy. Yeah, Riley's on the chat. She's saying it was 2017. She was there. One of my team members on here. If you remember Riley Miller or not, she was at that investigation. But there's a funny story about her. I got to tell it every time we talk about it. But I told her to wear some like good shoes at this place because there's a lot of stairs, you know, and stuff. And like, I think she had on freaking cowboy boots that came up to her, like her calves. And she was trying to go up these stairs, but I think her and Courtney both fell at least once or twice. But Riley, I think, fell, and both of her legs went out like from each other. And like, I don't know, she looked like she was doing this chicken wing dance down the stairs. And like, I thought we was going to have to call her parents and tell them we was taking her to the hospital. So
did any of them, did Courtney or Riley, excuse me, or any of them go ahead and do that challenge when we did it up there out of the library?
I think I'm the only one that completed it for my team. Yeah, we did this in the dark challenge at the Mansfield Prison, guys. And what they do, what floor was that? Was it the third floor, Greg?
Third floor. It was from the library to the third tier.
Yeah, it was this paranormal challenge that they do there, basically, you know, and you got to go out there onto the third floor and walk clear around, the prison cell, prison block, you know, around that tier. And in the dark, no flashlight, you know, because it's supposed to be extremely haunted. And they start you out there, you know, and let you go clear around by yourself and do it. And I think I'm the only one who did it on our team. And then did you do it on your team, Greg? Did you guys do it?
There was one of the sister of one of the old members from GRS. She kept on saying, I want to do it, because I had said, they said, you can start. And then I thought for a second, I said, oh, you want to be the first, go right ahead.
Yeah.
If there's anything really wild. And to take the walkway and the fact that there were just steel poles and one steel cable through them.
Yeah.
All the way around that thing. And you're 3 floors up in the air.
Yeah.
In pitch darkness. And you got jail cells to the left.
Yeah.
And I ended up with my arm up. And I had my voice recorder.
Yeah.
And I just had it put behind me because I had footsteps.
Oh yeah.
I had somebody, and then I would stop for a second, and then they would stop, and I'd start walking again, and it was like airy. So I was number 2, and I got touched down in the corner where they went ahead and somebody grabbed me almost by my butt.
Yeah, I had some they told you to kind of like blank out your mind too, and like see if what you felt, if you had any feelings, because they wanted to know that too when you got back. And I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna lie, when I got to the end, like where you make the turn to come back, like right there at that end, and I started coming back, I just got these visions in my head of people reaching out of the cells at me, like hands coming out and trying to grab me or touch me, and like, whether it was mental or whether it was actually some type of something I was sensing or picking up on, I don't know, but like I high stepped it a little.
It was your empathic, skills that were coming out.
Yeah.
Because there were definitely, and I think that's why I had raised my arm up, because it was like I was anticipating one of those arms just coming up and grabbing mine.
Right.
And I didn't want to go over that rail or that cable.
Yeah. That's one reason why Courtney said she was going to try it, but I told her not to, because she like falls over nothing. Like she'll fall in an empty parking lot with nothing there. So like, there's no way I was going to send her down that thing in the dark. She'd end up over that chain and fell off the 3rd floor up there.
Oh God.
Into nothing. But
that was awesome. God, and then when they got us together at the end and talked, and you guys went off in one direction, and I had Mike and everybody else, and I was over by the East cell block.
Right. Yeah.
Filming down there. But then towards the end, when everybody was like, Stanley was in the chair and he was like snoring, and I came into the room and there was nobody there. And I said, well, I'm going back out. And I went over to the West cell block. And that's when the pebbles started and that kind of stuff, where you'd hear the whispers.
Yeah.
And then the pebbles would come out.
Yeah, that was really weird. I heard stuff dropping from above, like probably from that 3rd floor area in one of those areas. I heard stuff just dropping and hitting the floor. And like, I still to this day don't know what that was. I tried to debunk it. I thought maybe bats were dropping something, or maybe it was bat crap falling, or birds, like I didn't know, I just kept hearing stuff hit the floor when I was walking past there at Mansfield. And it almost sounded like little rocks, like you're saying. Like I honestly think somebody was throwing rocks from up there, and like
I had my flashlight sort of down in front of me, and I saw one physically hit and bounce.
Oh, did you?
Yes. I
could hear them, but I couldn't really figure out what the heck it was, falling too. Like, I mean, it sounded like rocks, but we couldn't really find it. It was so dark in there too half the time. We couldn't see, and it was a pretty strange experience. And that's where Becky Knighty, she was on the team at that time. She'd went and sat in the solitary confinement. I guess she heard some pretty weird stuff in there. And I heard the rocks, and then at the Mansfield Prison, we also got some like pretty good evidence on our motion-activated 35 millimeter cameras and motion-activated digital cameras in solitary confinement. I've got what looks like motion blur of something being kicked up like when nobody was in there, like the time frame, nobody was in there. It's like
Wow.
all this dust and stuff is moving forward in the camera frame, almost like a star effect. You know how when you've got movement of dust, you see that.
Like somebody's coming through fast.
Right. It looks like a big, blur of motion. We caught that in there within like in 2 or 3 different shots, and then the next frames and shots is nothing. So I mean, there was some type of an air disturbance or disturbance in the environment that kicked up some dust in there at some point, and there was nobody in there because we didn't catch anybody on the cameras. So whether it was some type of draft or something that kicked up, I just didn't know about. I don't know, but we still can't really explain that. And that was that prison in Ohio. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember when I got done, I got about 3/4 of the way down that wall on the west side, and more pebbles were coming, and I thought, well, obviously they're trying to get me to turn around.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, we'll see you guys later. And it was getting real late. And I turned around and I was walking back and I came around the corner, and that's where that cardboard cutout of Morgan Freeman was standing. And
that
I came around.
I'm dark, by the way.
Yeah, that was one of the most exciting parts of the whole night.
Yeah.
Because I could have gone ahead and very easily, watch something there.
Yeah. But, yeah, you turn the corner and you see Morgan Freeman. I mean, it's just a weird experience in the dark. You see him in the middle of the night, it's like that's not supposed to be there.
And his same outfit that he wore in the movie.
Yeah.
Right? He had like a brown suit on.
I think so.
Or was he in prison wear?
Gosh, I can't.
I think it was a suit.
I can't remember. Yeah, I've got pictures of it, but I don't know. It was crazy. Yeah, that was really cool.
You have a couple people that I know on here.
Oh, do you?
Greg Bakken, who is a great spirit box man who does Minnesota Ghost Box.
Okay.
And that's the one I always send the links around on.
Yeah.
He's on here. And Onay Shin, she's a psychic medium that works a lot in conjunction with Greg on the Paranormal Warehouse.
Okay.
That part and the other part. So they're here too. So awesome. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for joining the show tonight, guys. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Like I say, I know we haven't been doing a lot of live feeds as much as we used to, but we're going to get back into it. Like I say, this weekend. And Jennifer, to answer your question, Jennifer Baker, we are going to be down in your area, and I will definitely get a hold of you when we're down there because, we're probably going to be coming right by you, actually. So we'll get a hold of you for this weekend's investigation, let you know about it. So, what we're going to be doing, Greg, this weekend, we're going down to, have you ever been to Shawnee National Forest in the south end of the state?
Like Kincaid.
Yeah.
Well, I fish muskies, so.
Yeah, right.
Kincaid we used to always have a spring tournament down there with a bunch of groups from all Illinois and, all the other Muskie Inc. groups.
Right.
We used to have a big bash down there. A lot of fun. I think I fished it probably 15 times. Awesome water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful place down there. We're going to be like, we're going to probably investigate Garden of the Gods again. We have investigated Garden of the Gods like a couple times before. There's been a lot of deaths at Garden of the Gods down there in Shawnee National Forest. There was a couple younger girls that fell from the rocks and passed away there in a couple areas. We had a lot of documentation of, deaths that took place at Garden of the Gods. And they claim those rocks that are millions of years old, according to the Shawnee National Forest. They supposed to be some extremely old rock formations down there. So, who knows what has taken place there, before, written history, even Native American stuff and stuff just before it was recorded history, I'm sure, people have fell there since the beginning of people.
Are you in contact with some real good people down there as far as information's concerned?
We got a couple people down there that are like kind of on the historian side, that know a lot of information about that area, but I don't know of too many groups down that way, like paranormal groups or anything that are, legit that we could talk to. But we've done Garden of the Gods. We've done like Cave in Rock down there. We've investigated it several times. But this time, actually, one of our fans out there, she goes with us a lot too. Tammy Joe, she's on here tonight. She's going with us, and it's her birthday weekend, I think, too. So that was kind of a cool deal for her. So we're going to go down there, and she knew some people down in that area, and we're going to be investigating an old church and cemetery we got permission to do that could have some paranormal activity in it. So that's going to be really cool, and possibly some other locations around there. They said they know of a lot of Indian burial grounds and Indian related stuff close to this area. So we're going to check all that out. I'm hoping, like I said, I hope we get to go live, because if I remember right, when we done Garden of the Gods, it was even hit and miss on our getting signal down there. So we'll see. Hopefully we can go live. We're going to try to.
The reason I was asking you about if you have any contacts like that was Lake Kincaid was dammed up. They dammed it up I think it was Johnson Creek or something like that. They dammed it up, and they knew they were going to fill it, and they had a cemetery there, and it's right off the boat launch. And they went ahead and they poured a top over it, concrete.
Over the cemetery?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So if you get a chance, just to confirm that, I would be interested.
Okay. Because I'll check into that and find out and see what I can figure out on that. See, I know similar places where that's happened too, where there was like cemeteries like in lakes, and the lake changed over time and overtook the cemetery. One of those locations is over near like French Lick, Indiana, Patoka Lake, by Jasper, Indiana. There was a cemetery there, and the lake kind of is overtaking the cemetery now. And sometimes you can see stones on part of it when it gets low and stuff. And the lake is just over the top of the cemetery. And that's kind of a weird deal too. But that reminded me of that when you said that, kind of a similar situation. But yeah, you're saying they just put stuff over it.
They actually built like a pad over the cemetery, so it couldn't have been extremely large. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But still, after time, you would figure that things would start to come apart.
Right. Yeah. There's that reminds me of another location we're going to be investigating in Indiana, and I can't remember the name of it or where it's at. There's a tombstone in Indiana, and we've got it on our places to investigate list here. It's in the middle of the road, and the road splits around the tombstone, and there's people buried right in the middle of the road. And I guess they were gonna change the course of the road a while back and actually remove that person. And when they dug into the grave, they figured out there was more than one person there. And so I guess they filled it back up and left it, because they're not even sure how many people is buried in that, like maybe stacked on top of each other there, or maybe they put multiple people there. I don't really know what the backstory is behind it. We're going to research it and go investigate it. But yeah, the road's just wise around the tombstone, and you can go either way around it, and the grave is right in the middle of the road. So it's over in Indiana.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Anytime any of that, there's a school that was built in Chicago. There was an old Dunning. It was like a mental facility.
Right.
On the northwest side of Chicago, and they used to bury the bodies across the street. And then they decided they were going to sell all that land off, and they had, I can't even remember the number of people that were buried there. So they decided they were going to put a high school up there. And this is like 4 or 5 years ago, and the high school's up now. And I don't think they got all the bodies out of there.
Yeah.
And it's like, what in heaven's name is wrong with people? You know?
Yeah, that's a recipe for a haunting. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean the places like I've talked about this before on my show. It's like the places they just level stones or they don't remove bodies amazes me. Like some of these old cemeteries, they'll just knock down the stones and put houses on them, or they'll knock down the stones, and put a neighborhood over them. I mean, it's happened in Robinson over here. The old Robinson Cemetery, the old burial grounds in Robinson is actually over there on Cherry Street. And there's a house sitting on top of the cemetery. The Legault family was buried there, and it was the first Robinson Cemetery basically. And now there's a house on there, and the bodies are still there. They just took the tombstones out of there, and there's a house sitting right on a little cemetery there in the middle of Robinson. Same way in Palestine over in Crawford County. We got a cemetery on, I believe it's Lamont Street. I may be wrong on that. It's either Lamont or Grand Prairie. I haven't been over there in a while. But there's a hump there. Once I get over there, I know where it's at. But there's a hump where they did the same thing. They leveled, and it was part of the Legault family, Legal, it was pronounced in the early Crawford County days, buried there also, and they just put houses over it. It's like, it's crazy, and a lot of these in the library, I actually researched that cemetery, the library. It said in the paperwork that was deeded cemetery land forever, and it was not to be destroyed. And they destroyed it. So, I mean, it's no wonder some of these places are haunted. These people are trying to make their themselves known. They're buried under people's houses, and these people may not even know it that buy these houses. It's crazy.
That's just mind-boggling,
Yeah.
I know some of this, even when you have everything that's up and running, you've got people that are the same thing. You have hauntings from regular cemeteries.
Oh yeah,
that haven't been disturbed. So then you sort of stir them up and get them going, and it's like, wow, what do you expect?
Right. Yeah, it's like a real life poltergeist. The movie.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier too that with Shadow Hunters, we're going to go back to Old Baraboo Inn up in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and they did during the outbreak with COVID.
Yeah.
We were going to do an investigation there, and we had the whole place to ourselves, and we were going in, and the day before we were leaving, at my wife's shop, she works at a beauty shop, her one of the girls in there had ended up going ahead and coming down with COVID. So, and we're leaving the next day. So
yeah,
I decided it would be best to pull out.
Yeah.
So, and then they had this pretty good video, very good video actually, that they made of it. And I was the guy that was left behind.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'd do it 10 out of 10, just to prevent the spread of any of that, because you had no idea what was going on.
Right.
I would hope that everybody else in the group would have done the same thing. That's all.
Yeah.
And then say, oh, well, 2 days later, it's like, no. But that's really, that place, if you guys can ever get up there, that's another one of those places that has some real good residents.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, they're there and they're up and running. It's fantastic.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to read people's comments here. Tammy asked if we're going to investigate Cave in Rock. I think we are. We might be, Tammy, if we have time. So I'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, there's a lot of good places down there where we're going. So probably be doing some daytime investigations as well.
Are you gonna stay right in? What's the name of the town? in just west of Southern Carbondale. You got Carbondale, and then you have the next.
There's Harrisburg down there too, like Harrisburg area, El Dorado. I don't know where for sure we're going to stay.
On 13, I mean, if you go on 13 and you go right across, not Shelbyville, where the 19th Street Grill is.
Yeah. Man, I don't remember. There's Shawnee Town.
Murfreesboro.
Oh, Murfreesboro? Yeah. No, we're probably not going to stay there in that area. There's a good story about Murfreesboro. You ever heard of the Murfreesboro mud monster? There's supposedly like a Bigfoot-like creature that's spotted down there. And it's in the cryptid community. You know, the cryptids always talk about it. All the people that's interested in, you know, Sasquatch and Bigfoot, that type of stuff. But yeah, there's a mud monster that supposedly is spotted in that area. So it's kind of got a little legend behind it too. And even though the whole area down there, you know, they kind of call the Little Egypt area down through that area. There's a lot of legends and lore, you know, behind, you know, Shawnee National Forest area, all down through that area. There's some cool legends. You know, there's Elizabethtown down in that area too. We may stop by if we get time to again. I always like to go there because there's the old Rose Hotel, I believe it was called. There's Shawnee Town down there. Now, Shawnee Town and our Palestine in Crawford County, they argue over which is the oldest white settlement in the state of Illinois. Now, see, Palestine right here in Crawford County claims that, you know, that was the first and oldest white settlement in the state of Illinois. But Shawneetown argues, and Elizabethtown down in that area argues that, you know, it was down that way. But I don't know, you know, Palestine being right along the Wabash here, I could see how it could be because it's right down the road, you know, right down the river pretty much from Vincennes in Indiana, which was an extremely old settlement and establishment. But, you know, they found burial grounds and like bodies. They're, you know, pretty much civilizations upon civilizations of Palestine, you know, back off the curve, what they refer to as African Ridge area back there. The Archaeological Society done dig sites into there, found prehistoric remains. I mean, people like, you know, there's been people in the Palestine area along that Wabash River for a long time. And but yeah, they get in a fight, Palestine does, with Shawneetown over who's the oldest in the state. And evidence shows Palestine is, but, you know, who knows, you know, with that.
It's you know, it's like going ahead and talking about Northern Illinois, the same kind of thing.
Right.
Except it's so far away from each other.
Yeah.
It's like I just still can't believe it when you really stop and think about, you know, how the distances between Northern Illinois and Southern Illinois.
I know. Yeah.
Compared to a lot of other states, it's like
yeah.
You'd be driving forever.
I know. Yeah, we got a long state, and that's why, like, everybody asks me where I'm from. You know, and when I say Illinois, they automatically assume I'm from Chicago, and I'm like, no, not Chicago. I'm from the southern part.
I'm not from Chicago either.
Yeah.
I'm as close to Wisconsin as you can get.
Yeah. I try to stay away from Chicago as much as possible, but that's another story.
Oh boy, I'll tell you, Len Dorman's in here.
Is he? Oh, yeah. Hey, Len.
How you doing, Len?
Yeah, haven't talked to him for a while.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had Len on the show once, I think. Yeah, that was a pretty good show. Had him on there, and good to see you on here, Len.
It's you know, for this year too, I would like to have like one or two big ones, you know, and do those, and then try to keep a lot of locals where we really sort of dwell into some of these real local establishments. Like we were working a theater in Lake Villa that was a converted grocery store, and it's atypical of some of the places that you film, like the VFWs and American Legion halls and things like this.
Right.
But this was a grocery store, and the guy that had the grocery store. He was in town, which was about 3 blocks away, a little storefront, and he was expanding so much with his meats that he had a building built. And later on, after it was closed down, they converted it into being a actual theater. It was a Lake County Health Department for a while and other things. And there was a house next door, and there were people that a little girl died and things like this. Well, anyway, this place was turned into a theater, and it's some of the best. We had so much activity going on, and it was uncanny because I could take like my portal in there and set it up and have it in there for like 3 hours and listen to some of these people talk. And it was really interesting. And then that place there now, we haven't been in this year either. So the Minion Hotel is on Pistachio Lake, or excuse me, on Fox Lake, on the Fox Trina Lakes. That place, it looks like it's going to be coming down the next year or two, the way it's falling apart.
Really?
Yeah, and I always post pictures on that, and that's a shame.
That's what's sad about a lot of these locations. You know, they don't last forever. And a lot of these older buildings, a lot of these older houses, you know, even around our area, there was so many places back in the day that we used to go and investigate that just aren't there anymore. And kind of sucks, you know, because people's either burn them down or they've fallen in, you know, gotten too bad and they were pushed in or whatever. But, you know, it's like some of our coolest places are no longer there. You know, like we had a place called the Robinson Spook House, and it's unfortunately gone. We had a place up north here called Restitution Church, and it got, you know, burnt down and pushed in. So it's like a lot of old houses, you know, just no longer there. A lot of old buildings, old churches. You know, we had a lot of older churches in the area that were haunted. Like there's one called South Bend Church south of Oblong, and they tore it down. You know, just a lot of these buildings and these historic places are, you know, not there. Yeah, it sucks because they're all getting tore down.
I was thinking about, you know, different locations and the distances between, so you always have to calculate how many nights you're going to have to stay over somewhere and all that. And what just triggered me now is the fact with that Greg Bakken being on here from Minnesota Ghost Box. He has a couple locations. So in other words, what I'm going to say is this: from my house to Minneapolis, it's five hours.
Right.
You know, and if from my house down towards you, I wouldn't be there yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. I know.
And then you can go another 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours north of the Twin Cities and be in some country where you run into total towns like what you're talking about from the 1880s.
Sure.
Things like that he started, him and O'Neill started this thing, and they do a live investigation like everybody else does, but he does them on the weekends from these different locations, and he's done 2 already. Okay. That have been absolutely fantastic. On how can I compare this? It would be like a hotel,
right?
Bar hotel. It was a bar, and then they built a hotel on top of it, and they kept on building, and they ended up having this magnificent structure, all wood. Everything was beautiful inside, and now it's haunted.
That's cool.
They went and did an investigation there. The people invited them that own the place to do an investigation. They had 2 groups going there, and they were there all weekend.
Wow.
And I mean, you do a lot of heavy stuff where you're going to do investigations for how many hours? You know, right. You, like I said, your pants are on fire all the time. My pants are out now, so I can't do that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, situations, that's just this unbelievable. Before I even, you know, end that, it's like it just amazed me what they have up there. And it's basically relatively like a lot of the other places around here, it's untapped.
Right. Yeah. That's the places I like. I like places that like, we do a lot of exploratory, investigations too, we call them, where there's not any reports of paranormal activity at all, but we'll find an old cemetery in the middle of nowhere and we'll just sit there all night to see if there's any activity out there. We'll go to different locations because we like to scout out and find new locations all the time. That's what we do a lot of times when we're not going live. When you guys don't see us, we're out driving the countryside looking at topographic maps and trying to find the old cemeteries, and just set in some of them, do some EVP sessions and some, see if there's any activity. Obviously we can't determine a place is haunted by being there for, a couple hours, but still, you get a good sense when you go in if there is a possibility of something being active. And yeah, we do a lot of scouting missions where we're looking for new places. And I think that's why we find, we get a lot of these places, or we'll even go knock on a door. We find an old house or an old building or something, and we can find the owner. We'll go knock and say, hey, we're paranormal investigators. Can we check your place out? And, 9 times out of 10, they let us. We've been pretty lucky, as far as people letting us in places down here. Maybe a different world up north, but down here, people are real accepted. They accept what we do pretty much. Like, yeah, check it out or something. And some of them, want the waivers of liability signed, that kind of stuff as usual. We have, insurance waivers we sign, that type of stuff if they're scared so we don't sue them and all that, and then they're pretty okay with it. So we're lucky in all the places we do get. It's like, like Dale, I think he was amazed because he said, like, I had the key to everything down here. He kept saying, it's like, yeah, I've been doing it a while, and it's just such a smaller area and everybody knows us down here. So it's like we get into a lot of places and we're fortunate with that. I mean,
I never looked at a few of those states that I mentioned in that respect for all the years that I was there fishing.
Yeah.
The only one for me was Wisconsin.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's the one that had all the paranormal.
Right.
So when I was up there, even when I was younger, the Chippewa flowage has an island out there in the middle of the flowage. And I have friends that guided that took pictures of an Indian brave on his horse over the top of the island.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How do you rig that?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's pretty neat.
And that's still they call it. I want to say it was Chief Island or Ghost Island or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nobody goes on it.
Really? Scared to go?
It's just one of those things that happens, people, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Have you been to anyone's home to do an investigation? Are they talking about me?
I don't know. Yeah, we've done thousands of homes, but yeah.
I haven't done a real lot of homes. I haven't. Up north with the investigations on the home front, with COVID, especially because of the populations, it was thrown out in the beginning of it for sure. And
yeah,
we're talking about doing privates again, and there's such a big process to doing it. By the time you ended up with all the paperwork and everything, your ghost would probably be retired anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've done thousands of home investigations over the years. I mean, most of our calls actually, we actually get called into people's homes, in the area and different all over the state. I mean, all this state, Indiana, we've been called to homes everywhere. And we've done many home investigations. I mean, residential investigations, is what we do a lot of times. And that's the reason why we don't go live all the time. Because like 9 times out of 10, if you get a legitimate person that's got some type of paranormal occurrence, a ghost, a spirit they think in their home, they don't want everybody knowing about it, and we have
Right.
to keep it confidential. That's why we don't release any of our home investigation stuff a lot of times, unless they're just straight out like, oh, we don't care type of thing. They'll let us film it or let us do it. I mean, we always ask if we can go live, but 90% of the time, our home and residential investigations, they say no, because they don't want their neighbors thinking they're crazy. They don't want the whole neighborhood talking about it. That they may have a ghost in their house, and freaks people out. And people are so scared. They call us. They're wanting to move out of their homes because they're hearing this stuff, and a lot of it is they're wanting verification that they're not crazy. Even us telling them that we may have found something eases some of their minds, and but then it comes to the point where some people get mad at us when we debunk it too. We had a home in Edgewood, Illinois, maybe haunted. I don't know, but we investigated this house in Edgewood, and we went live from that one. There was supposed to be a death near some train tracks nearby, car wreck out front where I believe a little girl died or some kids, can't remember. But that was in Edgewood here this year or last, right at the beginning. And we just debunked the heck out of it. Everything that they were experiencing, was caused by something natural. The windows were rattling at night. Well, we know it's within the first 10 minutes of getting there's a train track nearby, and every time that train goes through, it rattles the windows, And I'm not saying the place wasn't haunted or couldn't be haunted, but while we were there investigating, we didn't find a whole lot of evidence of paranormal activity there. Some people just get so mad at us that we debunk things that they want their place to be haunted. And I've talked about that a million times. It's like, why do people get mad when we say that, you've got a natural explanation for what you're hearing? It's like they want their house to be haunted anymore. It's like, it boggles my mind. When I first started investigating, if I would have told somebody their house wasn't haunted, they'd be like, oh, thank you. And nowadays, with the TV shows and all this publicity paranormal research is getting, it's like they want, it's almost like a famous thing. They want their home to have something going on so they can say, my house is haunted. And it's like, and we tell them it's not, some of them are disappointed. So it's like, it's crazy.
That's not the kind of thing you need to be disappointed.
I know. Yeah. It's like, we've got people that's got just plain out pissed off at us because we debunk stuff. It's like, well, that's what we do. We'll tell you we're legit. We're going to tell you whether you have a ghost or you got mice running across your pans at night. So, I mean, that happens a lot, believe it or not. A lot of residential investigations, people will hear their pans rattle, or they have, electrical problems, but, mice running across their pans, and we don't have mice in our house, any house can get a mouse or two, it's like, and we'll have cameras set up on the pans, filming these mice running across. So they're saying we don't have mice. So it's like, all right.
Oh man, alive! I'll tell you, and you guys are so good. And some of the investigations I watched you on, you guys have a lot of patience for a lot of the people that seem to show up at these places.
Yeah.
And, it's like, how can you got a whole living room full of people on a couch?
I know it. Yeah. We have that issue too. People hear we're coming, so it turns into a party, and they invite their friends and they invite their friends. And then we get to the point where we can't even investigate because it's like this big ghost hunting party, they think, and we're actually trying to do a legitimate investigation. Or we've even been out in the COVID, when COVID was going on, and we were trying to keep away from people, but yet go live. And, only a few of us would go out at a time and film, some of these lives. People would figure out where we were going or see us somehow and end up at the cemeteries where we were at. And we were like, stay back. We're just trying to, we couldn't even get away from people during COVID, but
they were like stalkers. They were following you guys, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. But yeah, we get a lot of people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like interacting with people and, talking with new people. And that's how we meet a lot of people too. We go out, and just like the other night, I talked about this on my show. We were at Airtight Bridge in Charleston, Illinois. We ran into a guy there while we were investigating that came across the bridge, and he told us about another location that's haunted, and we went and checked it out. So it's like we find out a lot of locations from locals when we're out in different places too that we run into. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, Ben says we're really backed up on investigations. That's definitely true. We've got a huge list of investigations still to do. So we'll get to them one of these days.
Do you find a how could you say, a matching with haunted locations with UFOs?
Like stuff with haunting like activity and UFO activity?
Yes, same areas.
Yes, we've found that a lot actually. UFO like phenomena. We've like the cryptid side, from like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFOs, and ghosts all tying in together at some locations. And that's locations we have to sit back and look at. Like, is this some type of a portal? Or something going on, because there's so much different type of activity and phenomena reported in one area that, you just got to sit back and kind of look at it from a different point of view and a different viewpoint, because one of those areas was Williamsburg Hill up at Tower Hill, Illinois. It's an old cemetery. It used to be Williamsburg. It used to be called Cold Springs back in the day, and we've investigated it several times. We've gotten permission. We've got permission, from the sheriff's department and stuff to do that up there at night. We've done several investigations there. We took Dale there even, and the place is extremely active. Sometimes it's not. But there's been everything from UFOs reported there to Bigfoot to ghosts. You name it. It's been seen there. And again, I've got that radio tower theory or cell phone tower theory. Like anytime there's a cell phone tower or radio tower nearby, I think stuff feeds off of that too. But obviously, before those were put in back in the day, there were still reports of paranormal activity there. So, the activity dates back far beyond, cell towers and radio towers. So, that can't be all the explanation to those type of locations. Another place we've got around here, and I don't know if you've heard of this, Greg, but it's called Lucky Point, Indiana. Have you ever heard of that?
Briefly.
Yeah, it's a big UFO hotspot, and it's called Lucky Point, and it's in Indiana. I believe that's the White River. I may be wrong, but that runs through that area. And if you guys are out there watching this, look up Lucky Point. They got a lot of stories on that, Lucky Point, Indiana. And it's down, close to the Vincent. You kind of go down past Vincent's and down that way to get to it. But same thing. There's UFOs. There's Bigfoot. There's been ghost sightings. There's been reports of telephone poles or electric poles vibrating, like actually shaking in the ground there. At this area, and people just see like all types of light formations and strange objects in the sky. So we've noticed that.
Yeah, that was something that hit me quite a while ago during the middle of when we were all locked up together and in our homes, and trying to figure out why they always seem to put those cell towers in only certain locations. And it wasn't for reception. You know what I'm saying? Because right. they have so much distance to what they would pick up. And then you'd see other ones in between, like, these are like navigational aids or something. Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Even like we got called into a case of possession where this lady was supposedly possessed. Me and Ben, he's on here. Me and Ben Irvin responded, and there was a cell phone tower pretty much in these people's backyard. And we wondered if they were having some type of EMF induced hallucinations, because once they kick on 5G, they're saying that 5G is going to be bad anyway. Or if you're living close to it, you get a 5G tower, something's capable of 5G in your backyard. The EMF, can the radiation, anything off of those towers affect the human mind? And I'm sure they can eventually, because but these people we got called into, she was screaming, yelling on the phone. I mean, I've got recordings, all this, like just cussing, like just demonic sounding, your typical demonic sounding stuff, And we got there, and again, I'm not a big believer in the possession thing. I've debunked most of it as mental illness over, all the possession cases we've had, unfortunately. But I believe this could have been the case too with this individual, a little bit of mental illness, because she was talking about her past mental history. And that's always the questions we ask, people that, are involved with possession cases. Do you have any form of, mental illness or past, depression, or are you on, medication for depression, that type of stuff, As a paranormal investigator, you can't get too deep in that. You don't want to violate HIPAA laws and all that stuff, trying to get their medical information. But, we need to know, that type of stuff sometimes, because it's almost like we're detectives in a way. We're coming into this scenario, and we got to put all these pieces of this puzzle together. As a paranormal investigator, it's what we do. We're detectives. We're trying to figure out why they're seeing these things. Is it legit? Is there a natural explanation for it? Can we, find some type of medicine they're on that could cause, some type of hallucination, or that they think they're seeing these things and they're really not. So there's a lot of stuff involved in, being a paranormal investigator. We're amateur scientists, we're detectives, we're crime scene investigators, we're
doctors.
Doctor. We pretty much do it all when we go in, because they think we do anyway, because it's like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into, investigating some of these locations. We may be investigating a crime scene that's 100 years old. We're going into this crime scene, and we're trying to piece together all these puzzle pieces from the past, and it's neat. That's what keeps me going too. All these stories and all the places we investigate, where we're trying to, try to find answers, from the past. It's pretty cool.
So, when we were talking about the UFOs and that, from where you're at to Mammoth Cave, how far is that away?
To Mammoth Cave?
Yeah.
In Kentucky? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
I think it's like right around 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, maybe.
And does it extend any farther west? I mean, into Missouri?
The Mammoth Cave?
The system itself.
Oh, I'm not real sure on that. Yeah, I've been to Mammoth Cave and investigated. We did an EVP investigation at Mammoth Cave, and we investigated Marengo Cave too in Indiana, Wyandotte Cave in Indiana, Cave in Rock, Southern Illinois. We've done a few caves. But I don't know how far west that Mammoth Cave system stretches. I really don't. I don't think it goes that far. I may be wrong. I don't know. But
that whole business of where the caves in eastern Kentucky, all the coal mines, how close to the surface the coal was.
Right.
A lot of those little communities, and that all was based on that Hellier business.
Right.
And Hellier throws a lot of the stuff out there that some people don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, they always fuel their little homes with coal from right out in their cave in their backyard. And then that's how those little creatures would come out and everything they call grays. And
yeah,
for all the years that I had been fishing out there, I always ran into guys from West Virginia and Kentucky that we always used to have these little talks and pick on each other about what we had. And I'd always say, well, you guys got Mothman. And they'd say, no, we don't got Mothman. We got the grays. And I had no idea what they were talking about until I started getting into that and found out about all that other stuff. And they go forever. You could have a whole civilization underneath in those caves. They run so far, and you wouldn't even know about it.
Right. Makes you wonder what's under the oceans too. If there's same thing. It's like what's under the ocean we don't know about. Are there alien civilizations that we can't see? It's so far down. Then there's that whole hollow earth theory. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Where it's like supposedly there's this big hole up in the Antarctica area and you can go down in the earth and like they keep it highly protected and all that. Supposedly there's aliens living in the middle of our earth. I mean, there's a lot of theories regarding UFOs and aliens and them living in caves and underground. And I don't know about all that, but I mean,
you open up all these huge portals, it's just filled today now. Right. Compared to what it was 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm open to the possibility of there being some type of underground structures, civilizations going on and stuff, especially in cave systems. Maybe they're using the caves to access that, or especially the ocean stuff. Who knows what's in the ocean that, we haven't explored yet. Just a lot of strange things. Trying to read Ben's comment here. Wait. Oh, see you, Daryl. Hey, Daryl, I didn't see you on here, but I want to get with you if you're still on here and can hear me. Hopefully you didn't just log off, but we want to take you to Pine Lawn because he's related to one of the individuals that's associated with Pine Lawn Manor. But Daryl, definitely get with us, and we are going to take you to Pine Lawn here soon. Ben says last year I thought the jackpot with UFO sightings, but it was Starlink. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of calls that it was Elon Musk is his name or whatever released those satellites, the satellite chain. We got so many calls flooding us that when like people were seeing those things, we actually responded to one of them because we didn't know what was going on either. We were late on the news, and we were out there trying to spot these things, and we went live with it, and then they ended up telling us, no, these are just, the satellites that they're launching and all that. And everybody was seeing them mistaken for UFOs. But that spawned a huge UFO sighting deal all across the United States when those things were being launched. So, like,
oh, boy. That's some unbelievable stuff, man.
Yeah.
Kathy Perry's on her. She says Crawford County groupies. Pertaining.
Yeah, I think she's talking about the people following us around.
Yeah. That's what they are, I guess. Got to do something, though.
Oh, yeah.
Boo. No. Boo, boo.
Yeah, I'm reading that. I'm not sure what that's about. But, yeah.
He's escaped.
Yeah. Speaking of Pine Lawn, I know I talk about Pine Lawn Manor all the time on here, but I do have a little announcement about Pine Lawn again. We were there the other night. We were actually there Saturday night into Easter Sunday. We went and investigated Pine Lawn. We were going to go live, but got pretty late. We started getting a lot of activity, and sometimes at Pine Lawn when we go live, it kills the activity because it seems like they don't like lights. They don't like camera lights and all that. So we get more when we we're not lighting the place up, and it's dark in there. So a lot of times we'll keep it dark in there. But one of the reports at Pine Lawn Manor that we have never experienced until the other night was a report of the phone ringing at weird hours of the night. Now there's no electricity to this place, no power. The phones obviously aren't hooked up in there, and there's still some of the older style telephones, the old I can't remember what you call them, where you put your finger in them and turn the dial. But they've got all those phones in there still from Pine Lawn Manor. And Courtney and I think it was Kelsey, Greentree, and I think Jake, I don't know if he heard it or not, but I know Kelsey and Courtney heard it, and Amanda Johnson, one of my team members, they were sitting down at the end of Group 2 hallway, and they heard the telephone ring 3 times in there in Pine Lawn Manor, and the thing's not hooked up. So, and people had reported that before, and people had reported hearing it on our live feeds, but we never heard it. Now, I still didn't hear it, and I'm not doubting what they heard, but, I still have not heard it, but they actually heard it the other night when we were investigating in there. We were having a good night. I mean, we were having door knocks, bangs, sounds of like glass being tapped, like you saw all sorts of weird sounds at Pine Lawn. As normal, rotary phones. That's what I'm looking for, Clear. The old rotary phones are in there, and they were ringing. Now, I'm not a phone expert, don't claim to be, but Now, I've talked to a few people, and they claim that they can debunk that. That they say sometimes even if a phone's not active and it's not hooked up, that the lines can vibrate. I think he said some type of vibration or something can cause that coming through the lines and cause the phone to ring. Now, I don't know. Like I say, I'm no phone expert and all that, but that would debunk a lot of things people hear with phone lines ringing on their own and stuff. But I've been told that that can be debunked. I talked to actually one of my old team members, Marcus. He works on telephones, and he's one of them that told me that, yeah, you can pretty much debunk that as, something natural, causing that to ring, even though it's not hooked up. I don't know the mechanics of how it happens, but I don't know. It may be able to be debunked, but the weird thing was they heard a scream right before it happened. Like they heard I think they said a guy scream, and then all of a sudden the telephone rang. So, I mean, that's pretty weird coincidence right there. A scream and then the telephone rang like they were trying to call or something. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, the only one that I ever heard about a phone like that, it didn't even have a cord in it.
Yeah.
And this is up in northern Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
At one of the places. And they said that it was just sitting on a table. No cord, no nothing.
Right.
And it was going. And then the only other thing, the thing that caught my attention to bring me back into this was, probably 30 years ago, we were staying in that same old resort where the resident ghost was there. And I got up in the middle of the night to use the latrine, and it was all the way down the hallway, and there was like an old birch spiral staircase that went downstairs.
Yeah.
And as I was going by it, the only light was shining from outside of where they had like one of those shuffleboard courses. So there was an overhead light shining in to the main part of the lodge on the floor, and the piano was playing. And I went over and stopped at the stairway, and I went to look down, and I remember very vividly, I could see that the pedals were going up and down.
Oh, really?
Really?
Dang. That's pretty cool.
So after talking to a few people, I assumed that if you wound it up, the piano, that would happen and the pedals would go up and down.
Uh-huh.
Supposedly.
Right.
Well, another 10 years goes by, and I'm talking to the owner and to his father, and his father goes ahead and says it wasn't a crank up piano. you had to operate the pedals to get it to go.
Oh, crap. Well, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
And it was like, that's what got me pretty much really swinging back into this direction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that supposedly happens at Pine Lawn, too. There's an old piano in there that supposedly plays by itself. I've never heard that happen either. We have yet to hear that. But, yeah, they claim that stuff happens. Now, this is going back to the mice thing. This happened to me, and this may freak some people out, if they heard this and just didn't explore and try to debunk things. But we were up at a place called Green Moss Church up north of Marshall, Illinois, up in Clark County, Illinois. And there's an old piano in there. And we were in there sitting there one night, and we heard that thing go ding, ding, ding. We heard the keys get hit or something, and it was making noise. And we sat there, it was like, oh my God, it's playing by itself. And lo and behold, there was a mouse up in the piano, actually going across the internal parts of the piano up in there, causing it to make sounds like that and sound like it was playing. So we debunked that. We sat there for a long time, sitting there just staring at this thing in disbelief, and then a mouse comes out. So it was like, dang it. So mice wreak havoc. They they really mess with our investigations.
Oh, it's got to freak out some of the girls, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was people freaking out. I mean, they were scared. That thing's playing by itself. I was like, just watch it for a minute, because it was playing by itself, but it had a furry little fellow there doing it for us.
We were doing an SLS camera down at Thornhaven Manor.
Yeah.
In Indiana. And the camera was up, and there was like 5 of us around the camera watching. And there was a stick figure that was coming down the stairs. And pitch dark, And then all of a sudden, out of the corner that I didn't even know was happening, here comes this bat right over the tops of the heads of the ladies that were standing around me. And out goes this one huge scream. And I'll tell you, I'm glad I didn't have that SLS camera in my hand.
Yeah.
It was like a bag of cats,
Yeah.
Everything would have went up in the air. And
oh, yeah. Reading some of these comments here real quick. Jason Goebel says, I ask Eric every time I'm at the Effingham Brew when you guys think you'll do a public event there. Super stoked for that one. Jason, if you're still on here, we did have that scheduled. I need to get a hold of them because we're supposed to do a public event at the Effing Brew Company where we're doing a meal and a paranormal investigation there for the public. He was supposed to let me know about that. Never has gotten back with me, but as far as I know, it's still in the works, but I'll contact him regarding that. I'm glad you reminded me of that, really, but I'll keep you guys updated on that and what goes on. Also, too, while you guys are on, we've got a good possibility of getting into another place, which I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet.
Oh.
But we may be getting into an extremely good location in the area that we've tried before to get into. I'm sure some people probably figure out what I'm talking about. But I've got another contact now to an extremely good location similar to Pylon Manor, maybe better. I don't know if it can get better than Pylon. It's the most haunted place I've seen in the world. But it's very similar to Pylon Manor. We may be investigating that in the near future because I've got a new contact now. So just kind of let the cat out of the bag, and I'm hoping it happens. It looks really good this time, but last time I talked about it, things happened, and it got sold right after we were going to get in, and it went to heck again. And that's what happens every time I try to get in there. But we may have a good one coming up, guys. So just to keep you on the fence there and keep you guessing.
Kathy Paris said that the disconnected elevator dinged at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
Oh yeah.
I never heard it, but some.
Yeah, I didn't either. But they said there was a lot of activity in that area, wasn't there? The elevator area. They would experience
by the nurses' station there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That had that feel about it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that first time we were there was before anything was done in there.
Right.
And everybody else decided they were going to go to bed. It was 50 degrees in there. And
yeah,
I was sitting on a couch off that nurse's station looking down that hallway, and it was all pitch black. And I sat there and I had a flashlight and K-tube next to me, and I started seeing things. And you know how after you get so used to the dark that you can actually see shadows?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can see the movement.
Yeah.
So I'd pick up the flashlight and turned it on, and there was a doll's head that was on this chair. And I saw that, and one of the first times I shot the flashlight, and then I turned it off, and I can hear him walking.
Uh-huh.
And I turned the flashlight back on, and the doll's head was gone.
Oh wow!
Now I'm by myself, and everybody else, Mike Wright and Kat Meager and Kat's daughter were all already in bed.
Right.
And I'm ready to go ahead and say, I need somebody to see this. I don't even have a camera with me right now.
Yeah.
I just decided I'd sit down and see what would happen, and I figured, well, I had a voice recorder in my pocket if I needed to turn it on. But anyway, that doll's head
Yeah.
ended up on the bars by the doors there.
Huh.
So it moved twice.
That's crazy. That's cool. It's pretty neat.
It was like at that point when I saw it the second time, it was like, you know what? I'm going to bed.
Yeah. You know who this Richard Raines is, by the way? Commenting. Richard Raines. Is that a friend of yours by any chance?
No. Are you
Okay.
eating edibles?
Yeah.
This stuff?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're talking about, but like,
All these are little Swedish fish or whatever they call them. I don't know who he is.
yeah, I don't either, but I think he's some type of troll. He may be an escapee from Pine Lawn. I'm not sure. But yeah.
As long as he doesn't come through
Yeah, I
and show
know.
up on a picture here.
Yeah, I'm just deleting his comments. He's getting ready to get booted here in a minute. I like booting people.
There's no reason to do that, my friend. You shouldn't even be on here if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But that's pretty funny. That's what I thought. Yeah, they're all saying he's a troll. But yeah, Cleora, you are on the right path there with what you're saying there in the chat where we may be going. So it's not making an official announcement yet, but I do have a new contact for the location, so we may be getting in there. That's going to be pretty cool. So
it's of a different persuasion too, isn't it?
yeah.
Have you run into any more real crazy Masonic lodges?
Well, you knew we investigate the one in Lawrenceville, right?
Right.
Yeah, the Lawrenceville Masonic Lodge, the Edward Dobbins Lodge. We investigate that. That's where Abraham Lincoln, attended church, Presbyterian church there back in the day. And there's the underground tunnel. We investigated that one. We've done a Masonic lodge in the northern part of the state. Well, a Scottish Rite temple, actually, in the northern part of the state. We're not supposed to release the actual information on which one that was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Masonic lodges that are haunted and active, with activity. And I think it's due to, a lot of Freemasons, they devote their life to that. It's like they'll go to a different place every night, doing degree work and everything. And they're just highly devoted to their lodges that I think a lot of them stay there. But a lot of Masonic lodges are haunted. Because of that, and a lot of them are old. A lot of these lodges are old buildings. A lot of them are in buildings that weren't even built for lodges, that are older and predate the lodge even, and were used as something else, back in the day even. So it's pretty cool.
Do you think a lot of it's residual?
I think a lot of it is. Yeah, I think it's the energy associated with the stuff that takes place during rituals and our Masonic, degree work and everything. I think, there's a lot of energy that builds up and associated with Masonic lodges, especially the altar area. I think some of it could be residual, but, I've run into a few intelligent hauntings in Masonic lodges also, where there is an active, intelligent spirit in there communicating with us and responding and interacting to our questions. So I think it's a little bit of both. When it comes to residual and intelligent hauntings, I think they're kind of a combo.
That's really interesting. I know how involved you are in the work,
right?
And that's really cool too. But I was never invited when I was younger. I had a cousin that was, and it was like, okay, well, so be it. But it would have been something that would have been really interesting to get involved with, I think. Dedicate your life in that direction,
Yeah. Hey, you're never too old. You can join if you want. Like all you need is a lodge in your area and ask a Mason. And I can even refer you to your lodge up there. So, I mean, if you got a lodge in your area and you want to join one, I can help you get in.
I appreciate it. But,
Yeah.
back in the day, it would have been a lot better than now.
Yeah.
You know how many cookies or how many what I got in the fire, rods in the fire.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, did you tell me about this paranormal outdoorsman thing? You got a new page or something? Is it called the Paranormal Outdoorsman, or is that a joke? Are you really doing that?
Chuck Williams,
Uh-huh.
Charles Williams from GRS
Yeah.
is, a documentary filmmaker.
Okay.
He has a relationship with Dr. Chuck Kennedy. You know who Dr. Chuck Kennedy is?
Right.
With Project Psi and all
Yes.
this business. This was mentioned the other night. I had Dr. Chuck on Friday night.
Hey, have you got anybody at your house?
Huh?
Is there anybody at your house down there with you?
Yes, my wife.
Okay. Is she walking around right now?
Yeah, Margie. That's her.
Okay, well, I just seen like what looked like a shadow figure. Is that a staircase in the background?
Yeah.
Okay, I seen what looked like a shadow figure go up your staircase.
Were you down here? No. Did you come down the stairs?
No. Did she say no?
No.
You got to go back and watch this, man. Like, I saw a shadow go behind you, and then it looked like it went up the stairs.
Well, I heard her on the stairs.
Okay. So you think it was her?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing here.
Okay. I was just seeing it. It looked like just a shadow. Sorry to interrupt you. I just seen that in the background. I'm like, what?
That's okay. That? I don't even remember what we were talking about. Dr. Chuck.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Greg.
So what was my train of thought?
You talking about Kennedy? Yeah.
I was talking about Dr. Chuck.
Yeah.
And he was on the show, and there was something with Chuck Williams, and we're talking about this paranormal outdoorsman.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Chuck, about a year or 2 years ago, something like that, he goes ahead and he says, he kept on saying to me he wanted to go ahead and do a documentary on me as far as being a paranormal investigator.
Oh yeah.
And a musky fisherman. And he wanted to come out in the boat and film me fishing.
Yeah.
And tie it all together with the paranormal.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
So all of a sudden, right out of nowhere, he says, you got to go check this Facebook page out.
Yeah.
And I'm on there. It's like, what?
That's awesome.
So he's always coming up with something. Dr. Chuck, absolutely fantastic with what he's been doing lately.
Yeah.
And everybody's grateful that he's alive and kicking, and he's well.
Yeah.
For everything that went down with all those all the missing people and the people that were being grabbed off the streets and shipped overseas and everything like that. He told some stories Friday night that were just absolutely mind-boggling. And his group of people, his psychics that work for him on these projects have already recovered, I want to say over 400 people.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So,
and it's all people that are in the paranormal community, that are mediums and empaths, and they go to work, and it's people that do remote viewing. And I'm going to be going back to him for my second course on that, because I'm still a little short on the one that I took in the first place. I should have never got into it.
Yeah.
without having any real foundation, you know what I mean, for really developing anything as far as the training that you need to do for understanding situations, and you're not by yourself, and
Right.
you're in a family and you have help, you have your guides and all that, so to see that and to know these people and know that they've been working with them and then come up with those kinds of statistics, because those people were lost.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They would come up with the name, with the location. They come up with a vehicle
Mm-hmm.
with a name on the side of a vehicle.
Yep.
That was, and they'd open it up and they'd have 15 people in it.
Yeah, there was a secret project by the military too called the Stargate Project. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Well, that's
pretty much the same, same concept, same thing too. Yeah.
Some of these same people are related.
Yeah.
Across the board too. The guy that instructed me the first time I took the remote viewing was from that Stargate.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's something that a lot of people, you look at these people and they're no different than anybody else.
Right. Yeah, the Stargate Project was a big deal. A lot of people don't know about that too, and like, yeah, they actually use psychics and, remote viewers especially, to locate, a missile bunker, different things, even in Iraq, they try to find, places where they were going to launch, different missiles and stuff from, and places to do counter strikes, and stuff. And they'll use remote viewers and stuff to try to access that and try to find locations and places.
And all that stuff started in the Cold War.
Oh yeah.
With Russia and Berlin and all that. They were already battling back and forth with these people that had these gifts.
Yeah.
And just got carried away on all that, and it kept on continuing. And now you have, some of them are like third generation.
Oh yeah.
So you can imagine what kind of base these people have.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Unbelievable.
Cleora says, send me a message if you want a Ouija board. Well, yeah, definitely. I'll take a Ouija board for my collection. I collect Ouija boards, even if they're haunted, not haunted, old ones, new ones.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
Do you have a lighted planjet?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, I collect all, like, anything like that, any spirit boards, talking boards, Ouija boards. It was Parker Brothers, even back to the older one. The old ones is one, the ones I like to get a hold of. I don't know what kind she's got, but yeah, I take any. I've even collected like several from investigations. Anytime we have an investigation involving a Ouija board, sometimes the clients will give them to me because they just don't want them because they're scared of them. I said, well, yeah, I'll take them off your hands. I'll take a haunted Ouija board. But
I saw when you were looking back at the stair, that's a spiral staircase back there.
Is it? Okay.
And when you were looking, all of a sudden your eyes got like,
I know. I mean, it looked weird, dude. You got to go back and look at the replay of this because, like, it looked see-through. It looked like a shadow figure. I couldn't see anything or mask to it. It was just
in here where you see that ladder that's there and those little pictures on the wall there.
Yep.
They're upstairs. There's a light.
Okay.
So that if somebody goes in front of the light upstairs, there'll be a shadow on that wall.
Okay. Yeah, it freaked me out. I was like, man, I got Greg on the show tonight. He's got a ghost there. You can't get any better than this.
Jason, I tried. I just had to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'd rather know the truth. That's good because at least we debunked it.
She said, why do I have to stay up so late? And I said, because you got to walk back and forth up there until Jason sees you.
See how observant I am tonight?
You're okay, even after your long, long day.
I know. Yeah, I think I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, I am too.
But
It's really been awesome, man.
yeah, we'll have to have you back on again, Greg. So
Oh, we will. We'll get something going, and then you'll be over by me.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's always a pleasure having you on and talking with you. So
Yeah, it's good old, just down to earth, good old ghost talk.
oh yeah, definitely.
And we even threw some aliens in for you people out there that
Yeah.
there's Kelly Griffey's on her. She says she saw a light flash.
Huh. We've got your whole place haunted tonight, Greg. You have a hard time sleeping tonight. No.
You know, that story about me at the roads that I told.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember it, where I go to the same room every year. I know the ghost.
Yeah.
He's there. He likes girls, the whole kit and caboodle. And I put my sleeping bag on the bed this last time. He had already kicked it off the bed earlier in front of us. Pushed the sleeping bag right off the bed. It was rolled up, and he just pushed it off the bed. I get ready. It's like 3:30, quarter to 4 in the morning. I am tired. I got to go to bed. And I go ahead and unfold it, get it ready. I'm all set to jump in. And I just turned around and I went, look, I'm really tired. So if you need to lay down, I'll leave room for you. Just don't bother me.
Yeah.
And I went to bed and he didn't bother me that night.
That's funny.
It was like, well, they're just like us.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're no different.
I talk to the ghosts sometimes too. People think I'm crazy. I'm like, leave me alone. And like, yeah.
As long as you're respectable and you go in there with an open heart and with love, and you just say, hey, I'm here to learn, and you're probably looking at me because you think I'm really weird looking anyway. So, because the Lord only knows what they can see.
Right. Yeah.
Or what we come across as being, what we appear to be.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. What do we appear like to them?
Yeah. We think they're scary.
Yeah. That's what I've told people a lot too. And we talk about that in Pine Lawn. We joke around about it when we're in there. It's like, are we the ghosts to them? When they see us, do they get scared? We actually made a joke one night because we were bored and we walked around just going boo, trying to scare the ghosts to see if they would come out. There was nothing happening. So we were being the ghosts one night, just trying to scare them. And we were banging on doors like, wake up. And didn't really work that well. Nothing happened, but we tried to change roles.
Deidre says, Karen Cat so very freaky. And then Deidre says, got us all, Greg.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think they saw that shadow too, I think.
Yeah.
The viewers. So
and it wasn't planned. It was not, none of it was planned.
Yeah.
Please.
That's cool.
That's way beyond my intelligence level.
To plan something like that.
At this time of night, no.
Same here. So
we'll get together down the road.
Okay, sounds good, Greg.
Okay, and if you got a chance, Friday night, I'm going to have Sylvia Schultz on.
Okay. So I'll try to watch. Yeah,
she's from Pollock Hospital.
Yeah.
She's an author. She has a bunch of books.
Okay.
Great lady.
Yeah, before I get you off here, give your page a plug and tell people how they can access your show, what time it is, and all that before we get it.
Okay, I'm on. My name of my show is The Shadow Hour, and I'm on Shadow Hunters Paranormal Investigations and Events page, and that's a big long title. If you come in anywhere remotely close to it, you'll see it. It's at 7:00 on Friday nights. It's usually people just like Jason and everybody else that I've met and became friends with throughout the paranormal community from all the way across the country. a lot of great people, a lot of great names. Me and Scotty Rourke right now are in this little thing about grabbing people that we know, and he'll get somebody right before I get them, that kind of thing. But
Yeah,
hey, it happens, and there's so many great people all across not only this state but all the other ones too. And
sure.
everybody, it's one big community, and we're all together. No matter how much squabbles we have,
Exactly.
get on with it and do what
Yeah,
you're supposed to be doing, and don't worry about
right.
any of the other stuff.
We can't all agree on everything.
No, you can't. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those guys that, if anybody's going to fall through the cracks, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
You got 50 people, and they say, how did that happen to you?
Right.
That's the way it's been.
Yeah.
Through the war, through coming home, through everything all the way down the line. Every once in a while, somebody go, how the hell did that happen? Well, I just got that little thing back there. I don't know what it is, but it's not right there.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Well,
You have a good night. You have a good night's sleep, my friend.
yeah, you too. Hopefully, I won't see any more ghosts in your house, and you won't either. But hopefully, there's no ghosts in my house tonight. But yeah, we'll definitely get together again, Greg. I appreciate you being on the show every time. We always have a good conversation, and good luck out there in all your future investigations. And we'll keep in touch, and definitely let me know what you got going on. So,
Will do. Thanks a lot, Jason.
yeah, thank you, Greg. I'm gonna pull you out of here and end the show, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Okay, good night, everybody.
All right, guys, that was Greg Koss, the Shadow Hunters Paranormal, and they've got a page. I think it's Shadow Hunters Paranormal and Events page. If I'm right, it's a long title, but like he said, type that in. Go to that. He's got a show you guys can watch on there too called The Shadow Hour. So definitely check him out on there, guys. I appreciate everybody out there watching tonight, the show, the talk show. And we're going to continue to try to go live. Like I say, we've got an investigation this weekend, Shawnee National Forest in Southern Illinois. We're going to be doing a paranormal investigation of an old church and cemetery. Thanks to Tammy Joe, one of our fans and pretty much fellow investigator. She goes with us a lot. She kind of does some stuff out on her own, finds cemeteries, and we appreciate everything she does. And all you guys out there watching tonight, thank you. We will be live, hopefully, from Shawnee National Forest Saturday. We're going to try to get there around, probably 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Start finding some locations. We're going to be investigating, during the day and the night this weekend. So look forward to that. If we can get good signal, we're going to try to do it. So if not, we'll tell you what happens on the following Monday talk show. Which kind of sucks if we don't get signal, but we'll find something somewhere. But no problem, Tammy. She says thanks out there. So. But we will see you guys later. Hope everybody has a good evening out there. And hopefully we don't see any more ghosts in the background. So don't be haunted out there, guys. Have a good night.